Coming in hot on a Monday, last week of February, dealers rejoice everywhere. We have an extra day. It's a leap year. So we're going to talk about an extinction-level event, Craigslist markups, and getting free donuts from Krispy Kreme.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go, the people really want to know.
Leap year. I just realized it was a leap year this weekend.
Really?
I did. Because I can't remember why my kids were talking about it. I was like, 29. We have a 20? Oh, because 21 Pilots is releasing something special on the leap year.
That is so on brand. So on brand.
I've literally been planning this since the last leap year and have
Why not? Yeah, that's what you have to do.
It's unreal. But yeah, I mean, I was like, an extra sales day in February. This should be a great February for everybody.
Yeah, and not just that, but like from and I haven't, you know what, I need to check in with a few dealers this week, there's been like mixed sentiment in the start of the year. January was a little rough,
for sure.
But February, from a weather perspective, like I don't see a ton of like weather issues out there in the wild,
because there haven't been, especially if you
like there's no like 9-foot dump on Buffalo.
No, that happened early in the year. No, but for real, we've had very little snow comparatively. I saw some articles about there being like one of the least snowiest years on record. And even like the big nor'easter storms that have come up. Yeah. So February, granted, it all bounces out, right? They have like a lower tax season than last year, an extra day in this month. I don't know. I think the one thing is certain is like, we never really know what's going to happen. We just make the best of what we have.
That's it. That's making the best of what we have. Speaking of what we have is it's ASOTU CON coming up in 78 days.
We crossed the 80-day threshold.
Can you believe it? There's only a little over 20 days left with the initial troublemaker discount, the lowest prices at all this year on tickets. Period. End of story. Will end on March 14th. So make sure you get your tickets now. Tickets are starting to roll. It's like speakers are starting to come in. The tickets are starting to roll. The sponsors are coming a part of it. It's
landed a few awesome panels we've yet to announce.
I know,
but I feel like
this week is going to be the week of like announcing some panels. I can feel it.
I agree. We're trying to put a few together too, and some really neat kind of emerging brands. I don't know. We'll talk about it at some point. But WOCAN is having a breakfast. Maryland Auto Dealers is running their annual meeting in conjunction with ASOTU CON. We just announced that late last week, and so that's just going on. Hey, I saw a quote this morning from Simon Sinek. I get this email from him. He puts little quotes. Today just seems so applicable to ASOTU CON and to what we believe here, just in general, with the more than cars mentality. Simon Sinek says this: relationships are the foundation of accomplishment. And if that doesn't sum up why auto dealers are so successful, I don't know what does.
Ooh, man, you could go on that one for a minute.
That'll preach, as they say.
That'll preach.
I mean, like, there is a big difference between, learning, education, insights, etc. But in the end, like, that will never get you. That might get you some wins, but I don't think I like it. The way he uses the word accomplishment, right? That's a lot of wins strung together in the midst of a lot of losses, in the midst of a lot of reasons to need to lean on the people on your left and on your right, which is another way to say relationship.
Yep. Yeah, it's like that old, like, show me your 10 closest friends and I'll tell you where you'll be in 10 years or something like that.
I like that one.
It's the same type of thing. It's like, who do you surround yourself with on a regular basis, and watch where you're headed based on that. I
think it's time for me to drop that one on Miles, my 17-year-old son. He's a really responsible kid, but it's like, that's a good one, right? Because I look at some of his friends, I'm like, well,
I don't know if that's where you want to be.
How much do you really want to spend time with that kid? That's really great. What else? Is that it? Is it time for news?
That's it.
We have anything else we need to hit? All right. Here you go. This is a big one, right? We had a big extinction-level event. That's a phrase, right? In a unified stance against some major auto disruption, a bipartisan group of lawmakers are advocating for Joe Biden to halt imports of low-cost Chinese autos from Mexico, or EVs specifically, fearing a catastrophic event on the domestic auto industry. Whoa. So this is also in conjunction with the Alliance for American Manufacturing, turning up the pressure, saying like, hey, this is literally, and they use the term extinction-level threat. Chinese vehicles obviously benefit from a strong government subsidy from the Chinese government, and are in position to exploit some North American free trade agreements, i.e. making cars in Mexico, trying to bring them from Mexico to the U.S. China's BYD is obviously the largest target for this movement in legislation as they're setting up that EV factory in Mexico. Right now, the import tariff on an EV or a vehicle is 27% already.
Wow.
They want to make sure that gets tacked on to the ones coming across the border in Mexico. Also,
right.
To increase that, here's a quote from the Alliance for American Manufacturing. Says the commercial backdoor left open to Chinese auto imports should be shut before it causes mass plant closures and job losses in the U.S.
I got mixed feelings on this one. I love American manufacturing, but I also like amazing competition. And so, again, mixed feelings. There's a lot of U.S. manufacturers. There's a lot of overseas manufacturers that are making vehicles in Mexico and have been utilizing that resource in North America to make manufacturing and shipping easier. So it would impact, I'm sure, not just Chinese vehicles, but a lot of other
without a doubt,
right?
I think
that's what's scary to me.
Right, and like there is also like the premise of free trade agreements are inherently supporting like a level playing field.
Right.
And if there's so much government subsidy going into every car, right? Let's be honest, that's kind of what the US is doing with the EV market in general, right?
Right.
Putting government to create artificial demand. And this is just like that on steroids, but from like not a domestic, source. It's from an international, obviously a very contentious relationship at points. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
This is why the presidents at the big three have all been just saying, hey, we have to get it right. We have to get manufacturing right. We have to get costs in order. We have to understand the EV market. We have to understand, the current gas market and make sure that we're set up because it's inevitable that they're coming. How they come and when they come and the speed at which the inventory comes from these manufacturers is still a question to be had. But it's still inevitable, right? And it's probably even with whatever tariffs get imposed, we'll still have a significantly lower cost to them. So,
well, speaking of things that are inevitable,
segue.
This is as inevitable as rain in the springtime. Dallas area's Lexus dealership may be jumping the gun with a markup on a not even yet released or received 2024 GX model, a move that's getting some attention and reviving the conversation that just started to fizzle out about new vehicle markups. Before its arrival, an unknown Lexus dealer, maybe this is just a rogue, we're going to put this out there. Maybe it's just a rogue employee or a sales manager seeing what they can do.
Cars rule.
A little. Oh yeah. Hashtag cars rule. In Dallas, somebody posted a marked up 2024 GX. It's the new like kind of Lexus Land Cruiser at $27,000 over MSRP, posted it on Craigslist. The vehicle starting price, MSRP starting price is $77,200. It's listed at $105,000. The high demand, this like, right, that's a very in-demand truck. They're going to start to be released. It's not likely to be the last markup we see. The writer of the Jalopnik article, his name's Lawrence Hodge. He says, don't indulge this. Don't even pay $1 over sticker. Wait, or don't buy one at all, right? There's an element of just free market capitalism. Like if somebody wants the car and it's worth 105 to them and
that's
it's the only one there, are you defrauding somebody? You and I are very, I don't know. We fall in the same line when it's like the dealers that did not charge over MSRP are doing really, really well right now.
Absolutely.
Right? And on the back end of all that, at the same for these, like, I don't know, these unique vehicles.
Look, that's where I land. I'm right in the middle. Look, if you have a mass market vehicle with inventory or even like potential future inventory volumes and like should hit a mass market that isn't a unique or specialized vehicle, don't mess around with customers. You'll pay for it later, right?
Yeah.
But if you have a super unique vehicle that can't be found anywhere else, as i.e. Nissan GTR, 100 made a year, whatever the number, right? Or anything that has a very, very small inventory. Hey, look, people have been creating demand out of inventory and price, price flexibility on products for years and years. And that should continue. I just contend that, like, if you've got a mass market vehicle that will see a lot of inventory, you are doing a disservice to the dealership and the customers in overstated markups. It's crazy.
There's an element too. I was thinking about this a little bit more. And if you're a Lexus dealer in a busy metro like Dallas, selling this vehicle at a high dollar amount, and maybe you get another 10 or 15,000 for it to someone outside of market, I think is a bad long-term play, because there is a consumer inside your market that is going to be a service customer and a loyal customer that really wants that vehicle. And if you're not going to get a lot of them, you have a chance to make someone real special. I don't know. There's no right answer, Kyle. I think that's the bottom line.
There's no right answer.
The laws are in place. Follow the laws. Number one. Once that's the case, there's more than one way to make this a dealership thing work.
Always more than one way.
Speaking of things that don't work or didn't work,
Didn't work.
So then they really did work.
If you weren't paying attention on Thursday, I don't know where you were at, but AT&T had a little bit of an issue. So in a creative twist, Krispy Kreme turned that nationwide cell phone outage into an opportunity to earn a little goodwill, as they offered free donuts as a sweet relief to disconnected Americans. They offered free original glazed donuts during the major AT&T cell phone outage with no purchase necessary. They announced it on Facebook, and they invited customers to, you know what they did. They said, look for the hot light. The offer was a sweet relief for customers. A Krispy Kreme representative commented, underlining the brand's effort to spread positivity during challenging times. I mean, they're not that challenging of times, although I did have some friends freaking out. But at the same time, like, taking a cultural moment and moving it into a brand play.
We talk about it whenever we can.
I don't know if we've ever talked about that, Paul.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it sounds familiar. It'd be funny. Like, maybe one day AI will allow us to search that, like, over the last hundreds of episodes. How many times did we say that exact phrase? Take a cultural moment, pivot it into a brand play. I think I love it. I mean, everyone loves Krispy Kreme. Well, especially heart surgeons. They love Krispy Kreme, right? Keeps them in business. But but this is like a really simple deployment. They probably didn't give away a lot of free donuts. Right?
Probably not.
They took
but they got a lot of free press on it.
Absolutely. And the fact that you, as an auto dealer in the community, your people are in touch with the needs, you all know all the little nuanced things that happen. It's a great something to talk about, I think.
It is a great something to talk about. I mean, if I was running a business that had free Wi-Fi that day, I'd be just all over it. I'd be like, out of AT&T, get some free Wi-Fi.
Oh my God. I'm sure some people, especially if you're at a dealership, you have good stuff. All right, here we are, last week of February. We only have a few days left. It's a leap year, so you have a little progress to make. Remember, relationships are the foundation of success. Relationships or accomplishment. Let's go accomplish something.